race camera being a little offset. Whoop, there we go. Should be able to fix it due to trying to communicate to everyone and their neighbor on Discord currently. So that should help it a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to XLNC Shoutcasting. We are casting the Legends Series number 2. And this game is going to be between Norse Code and ThePurposeGamers. Sorry for the delay. There was some confusion going on, but we should have things sorted out. And so we are going to start off with those, of course, bans. Swain and Xerath banned away respectively from each team.
Indeed. We just saw how potent Swain can be, how much of a lane bully, and how strong he can be when he's head, so no surprise on that one. Xerath, on the other hand, is one of those that's... I haven't seen him take over a game in a really, really long time, but he does have kind of that annoying laning phase where he's non-interactive unless he chooses to when he's ahead, and he can really just poke you out. If he's good at hitting his skill shots, he's actually a very potent champion.
Yeah, that's specifically against Legacy, who played Xerath last week. Did go 0-4-0 on that champion. Not his greatest showing of it, but as we say, they're still picking out those target bans, especially against, now Change. Caitlyn played last week, going to be banned away. So they're forcing Norse Code to play a different series of champions than they played last week and show something different.
Yep. Caitlyn banned away, that's a little bit more expected. Caitlyn's one of those champions that is an incredibly powerful early laner, has a terrible mid game, but an amazing late game. Ezreal, while we did see it played last week, one of those champions who kind of falls in that gray zone between like strong early game and strong late game. He has a strong mid game, but his early is really weak and his late is kind of when you compare it to someone like Xayah, Caitlyn, Kog'Maw. He just doesn't have that same kind of carry potential that the others have.
We could see the dual combo of the lovers duo between the Xayah and Rakan for team ThePurposeGamers, which would be really big. Oh, they're going to switch it up with a Tark, so they're making me bite my own words off. But Xayah, double banned last week, didn't get even played once, and instead now the ThePurposeGamers being able to pick up the coveted Xayah for their game this time around.
Yep. Xayah, top 4, as I said last time, Kai'Sa, Xayah, Jinx, and Caitlyn make up the top 4 ADCs on patch 8.6 right now. We've already seen one of them picked up. I'm wondering who we're going to end up having, but I've got to say, the front line from Norse Code right now is just looking absolutely terrifying. Zach and Orin. Orin not as powerful as he was at the beginning of the season, but still a fairly decent laner and really crazy for engage. We've got Legacy picking up Malzahar in the mid lane. Malzahar, the engage out of this team is just nutty. Look at this. You've got Zach engaging over walls. You've got Orin with the ultimate, and Malzahar just point and click, and there's your engage. Or if Flash R. However, Orianna hovered for the mid lane, not locked in yet. I believe that is a favorable matchup in the Malzahar right now. So if he can manage to bully out the Malz, then I mean, you still have to contend with the point and click CC of the R, and the amount of long range engage is pretty crazy. Now you do have to say, as it's shaping up right now, the ThePurposeGamers have put together almost a KG comp in response to this. Xayah and Taric are people who like getting engaged on more than they like engaging. So you've got the engage comp into the kind of counter engage comp here. Taric ultimate, Taric CC. All of Xayah's kit is designed at kiting away from people chasing you, not chasing people down.
Yeah, so something that's interesting is, I would say, Zach, Norse Code Siege, picking that one up for the moment, being another one of those really prioritized picks, able to be picked up last week twice, and both times ended up being successful for the respective teams. The Fire Ferrets winning their game against, I believe it was Liquid Optimum, And so it will be really interesting to see if Norse Code, who originally has lost their game last week, is able to pick a win off of this, with this lockup included in that with the Malzahar as well, as we now have the Shen picked up as the top laner for the Purpose Gamers.
That gives you a little bit of global pressure. I think Orin wins that matchup, but Shen does, of course, as I just said, give global pressure at level 6, allows for people to be saved or plays to be made on the opposite side of the map. Then Shen can join, say, with Baron pressure. Now, Malphite picked up. What is this tank line? Oh my gosh. Wait, what? Hold on a second. Who's the ADC? Is this going to be AP Malphite in the bot lane? What? Okay.
Or an ADC? Who knows? We'll have to find out in a minute. It's definitely an interesting composition. I'm very curious on when and or if they start trading these champions around, because it could be Malphite in the top lane with an Ornn Bard combo in the bottom lane. We'll see how it happens. But Faith, is it going to be the Critical Sticks? Instead of picking up Jarvan for the Purpose Gamers. I don't believe he's going to be playing the bottom lane. There he is, switched over to the jungler role. But interesting stuff coming out here from both teams, especially the champions we haven't seen much of. The Jarvan, Xayah banned away both times last week around. Taric also coming out. We'll see how they do. But let's go ahead and roll through the champions and their players very quickly. We've got for Norse Code, Riven's okay, I guess. And the Ornn in the top lane. It has been locked in now. Norse Code Siege taking the Zac in the jungle. I guess I could skip the Norse Code part and just go straight to Legacy with the Malzahar in the mid lane. Change on the Malphite bottom lane role. And Phantom with the Bard bottom lane support.
All right. And for the Purpose Gamers, we've got Uncut Breeze on Shen in the top lane. We've got Split Mind on Jarvan in the... What? Okay. Looks like somebody locked in something that they didn't want to play, and we have Dodge.
Okay, so there is a bunch of chats that I was just rolling through. That's why Wraith's camera was going all over the place, which apparently says that Malphite was not the lock that it was supposed to be, so he had to jump out. He had a lag spike and picked up the Malphite unintentionally, so we are back into game builder mode as we await for them to log back in. But I think it should be classic picks and bans up until the point when Malphite was picked, and then from then on, I think the picks will be different if I do remember correctly. But either way, we're going to wait for... was that? That was change to get back into the game so we can restart it once again. All right, well, let's talk a little bit. So what I've found so far in both last week's games and this week's games a little bit is that Zac is extremely powerful for a long-distance engage. What do you think overall his composition works well with? Is it a Pix? Is it a Siege? Is it solely team fight-based champion?
Yes.
Why is Zac so powerful?
That's exactly the thing. He is a pick champion, but he's also an amazing team fighter. Zac has such potency for mainly the reason that he has incredible engage distance, but he interrupts the normal idea of a gank path. So you're either, say you're ganking bot lane, you've really only got 2 or 3 paths to choose from, right? You have to either come through Tribe Rush in that area, or you have to come straight down river unless you're ganking from red side. And you could path around behind the turret, I suppose. But really, and then there are lane ganks also. But if you're Zac, you can come over walls. There's a gank that Zac really likes to do from behind the opposing turret, jumping down into and in front of this is from on blue side, ganking red side, jumping from behind their turret down in front, and engaging on them from angles that you normally wouldn't have wards on. So it really changes how your opponents have to ward if you're a Zac. But then also, he can do that all game, engage from Fog of War. But from team fighting perspective, he has that crazy ultimate. You hit an elastic slingshot all the way onto the back line of the enemy, and then you get it's not called Let's Bounce anymore. It's Kidnap. Then you channel your Kidnap and drag all of their carries into your team where they're instantly killed. So excellent team fighting, excellent engage, just an all-around solid pick and a good jungler right now. It's why he's banned so much.
Okay, so what is happening now that I've gotten all the information as people are going back and forth is apparently he did have a bug in which he couldn't see any champions, so he ended up only clicking the Malphite because it was the only thing that he could see on his screen. It continued to go and finished all of the picks, but it was still in the currently waiting period before the guy jumped out, so the game is rebuilt. What they're doing now is just running through as quick bans as possible to get all the way back through picks. Stone has made the official review and said that if somebody was having an error, they should have left immediately before Norseco was able to see what the Purpose Gamers were picking. And because they waited until after after the Purpose Gamers picked their last two picks and continued on all the way up until the very end, because they continued, they are going to have to play the exact same composition. So they're going to have to figure out how to work around having this Malphite. They're going to have to figure out how to be able to make it work for that composition. So while we have this opportunity to talk about this very unmeta pick, let's discuss Ornn bottom lane carry role or Malphite bottom lane carry role. Because if it was me, I would say put the damage dealer who doesn't have to back in the bottom lane, who he's going to be able to do a little more CC and composition with that Bard. Give Bard a little more ability power. You think Malphite's going to make a better ADC in the bottom lane?
Yes, I've seen it before and I've seen it work before.
Okay.
The thing is, you don't do AD. You have to do AP Malphite. He has decent early game scaling. Give him some early items. And at level 6, it's a pretty strong engage lane. Ornn would absolutely get destroyed in the bot lane against any ADC who knows what he's doing. Because Ornn is a very slow champion, and so long as you don't just eat the Bellows Breath in the face and you have a decent support to peel them off. However, you've got Xayah Rakan down there, so you're dealing with crazy strong engage. I'd say flip it up, have Malphite be your support. What?
They picked a Rakan where it was originally Taric. So yes, even Burnout. Hey, first of all, welcome to the stream, Burnout7. And yeah, they just noticed that he picked the Rakan rather than the Taric, and so they're going to have to back out, reset once again, and roll through all the champions and their picks real quick one more time to get the Taric pick instead of the Rakan. I think that was, again, a minor mistake because he was the one who actually left as well. I say we play one for all and settle this. Like real men, we play one for all bards all game long. That's how it goes.
Yeah, as I was saying, I really think they should switch it out and have Bard be the ADC. It's off meta, it's terrible, but kind of an on-hit Bard. Scales pretty decently into the game. The Meeps do pretty good burst damage.
Yeah.
They feed all of that farm into Bard and have Malphite be the support. And at level 6, I mean, you have some decent engage power. Of course, you're not going to beat a Xayah Taric lane, hopefully. Barring an incredible screw-up from the Xayah Taric lane, Malphite and Bard shouldn't beat them, but I do think that pumping your farm into the Bard is definitely a better idea than just going with Malphite.
No, I like the Bard option as the AD carry because one of the things that's interesting about Bard is that when he has enough meeps, I believe he stacks up to, I think, 25 before he can both get the slow and the AoE burst. and they continue to respawn kind of a little bit like a Caitlyn headshot of a sort. It's a period of time before you get a meet, and once you have one, your next auto attack deals that extra burst damage, gets a little bit of an AoE, gets a slowdown, and if you have enough meeps stacked up, you can really chase someone down and get a kill. Also really good for escaping. His ult, excellent at being able to avoid ganks. If the team's coming in to kill him, he just throws the ult down on them and then continues to just go through a wall. And so I see a lot of value, especially if you pick up some of those more hybrid on-hit power like a Lichbane or even a Trinity Force if he's getting fed a ton of farm for kind of that, playing that line between AP and AD on-hit power spike burst damage.
Yeah, I think that's probably their best option.
Ooh, Burnout gave a really good point.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
Go for it.
Difficult to roll with. If you aren't reading the chat, what he was saying is that Bard Ornn bot lane might be decent. I'd be nervous about doing something like that. Because Ornn's Pillar, I believe, costs a decent amount of mana, and it's going to be really difficult for Bard to land the Q onto that, as it takes a long time to spawn. Well, an interesting possibility as Ornn, if they could land the stun with the Bard, then Ornn could follow up with a headbutt. But it looks like they're not going to be trading champions around, that they're just going to stick with it.
Well, and again, I mean, it gives credence over. Have we run through the players and the champions real quick? I can't remember. We did that. I think we did do that. But we'll go ahead and do that in another second here. But again, what I wanted to say is that one of the interesting things that I found, at least, is that even if you're playing it into a different lane or a slightly different build, the people that are most comfortable on those champions probably should continue to play those champions. Even if you're a support who then decides to be more of the AD carry role, you wouldn't switch that Bard over to change, because Phantom would have that strength on that Bard role, even if he does eventually become kind of that AD carry more position. So let's go ahead and roll through the players and their champions one more time, as we have Norse Code. Riven's okay, I guess, taking the Ornn in the top lane. Siege with the Zac in the jungle. Legacy, Malzahar in the mid lane. Change with Malphite, bottom lane, somewhat role. And Phantom on the Bard, bottom lane support role, most likely.
Yep, and we've got, for the Purpose Gamers, we've got Uncut Brez on Shen in the top lane. We've got Split Mind on Jarvan in the jungle. Lion D Kaiser on Orianna in the mid lane. The Devil Lettuce on Xayah ADC. And Faith on Taric in the support role. So, I disagree with you on that. I think that if you're going to play an ADC, or an off-meta ADC, it should go to the ADC main. Because, especially if the person is a support-only main, farming is very important, and farming with a particular champion. Basically, they're just two different mindsets between support-only players and AD-only players, or carry-minded players. And it's like if you have somebody who plays tank top laner, if you have somebody who plays carry top laners, the mindset between those two people is very different. I would say
That's
that
fair.
if you have a star AD player that you wanted to have as your main ADC on your team, then you should probably trust him to play, even if it's an off-meta type thing. But, of course, it could be the advantage you get from a Bard main in the actual laning phase might outweigh the positional advantage you get from an ADC main in the late game. We'll see how it rolls out, but right now it doesn't look like it matters, as Malphite is going to be the AD carry, sort of.
Yeah, the pseudo potential, maybe, if things work itself out, AD carry playing on that one. So with these compositions, I'm definitely, of course, going to give opportunity over to the Purpose Gamers to pick up their first win of the series, because you have that Orianna, Jarvan, Shen power combo. Shen starts to ult in onto Jarvan, who EQs into an ultimate combo with the Orianna. Their team fight power, especially when you include Xayah's feathers, she could throw the ult out and rake it through the enemy team. You've got Taric with his ultimate being able to come down on multiple people, completely kill all damage. There's so much 5v5 power from the Purpose Gamers when taking Barons with that Xayah, when taking Drakes, that I think that the Purpose Gamers should come out with a win, especially due to Norse Code not having that AD carry role.
You see, the sad thing is I was actually going to give the win over to Norse Code from a compositional standpoint if they hadn't been forced to take the Mal fight, just because their composition overall looks very, very potent, and definitely could stand toe-to-toe with the Purpose Gamers comp, but they have this kind of clinker in their furnace, so to speak, that what do you do with the Mal fight? What they have built so far is kind of almost to protect the Kog'Maw comp, sort of. The only thing they're missing is like a Janna or a Nami, somebody who's really good at sitting back and taking care of their support or their ADC. But the key to this comp here, because they've got the CC-minded Malzahar, who does deal a lot of damage in the late game, but it's really mostly single target. You need a sustained source of AD damage in order to go behind this massive tank line, but they don't have that.
Right.
And even if Malphite does manage to get a decent amount of CS, which if Devil Lettuce is a competent ADC, he should be able to basically shove Malphite completely away from the farm. Even if he does get that, you now have Jarvan, Shen, and Tark, all who have the capability of building magic resist, and there's no AD damage on the team. So the only way I see Norse Code managing... Oh, Lord.
Oh, you have a pause. We'll see what that's about in just a minute.
Yeah,
but go ahead with what you were saying.
The only way I see Norse Code pulling this off is if they can snowball in a lane and just get everybody into like a death ball moving down mid and continually shut down the Purpose Gamers as quickly and as violently as they can to end the game before any scaling can take place, because they do get outscaled in this composition.
Yeah, something that I wanted to see from Norse Code now that they have these champions is they have serious pick power with CC. I mean, you're looking across the board at a Zac who can engage from a massive distance. You're talking about Malzahar's ultimate. It's going to lock someone up for an extended period of time. Even Ornn with both a knockup and just CC chains between them. Bard. Every single champion on Norse Code's lineup is extremely powerful when it comes to locking somebody up. In the 5v5, I don't think they're going to have the power. But if they carry a man advantage between lanes, between all of the different potential fights that could occur, there would be the opportunity to take it to a win, as long as they are able to snowball basically a game before the rest of the Purpose Gamers can get their carries of the Orianna or the Xayah enough farm to just win the game.
Yeah. Not a lot to analyze at this point. With the three disconnects we've had and now the pause, like, we've analyzed everything I think it's possible to analyze at this point.
Hold on. We have still not analyzed, will Shelly dance this game or not? That's the question.
What, say again? Sorry.
Will Shelly dance this game or not? That is the question.
That is an excellent question. I think it's definitely a possibility if the Purpose Gamers get ahead, because if they do, there's really nothing that Norse Code will be able to do. But I'm still hoping that Norse Code somehow manages to pull this off. What with kind of getting screwed over in Champ Select, really feels bad when a bug ends up losing you a game, especially in tournament. But so I would really like to see them pull this out. It'd be nice.
Okay, I think I figured out what's going on here. I can fix Wraith's camera. Don't worry, guys. I will do that. I think I figured out why everything keeps...
We've gotten engaged onto Lion D. Kaiser, and And he might actually go down right here. He's gonna have to burn the flash and a ton. He's gonna be at least 8 seconds late to lane right now. He's gonna probably lose out on 2, maybe 3 minions from the first wave. It's gonna put him in a hefty CS disadvantage as well as missing the flash. I'm looking to see Zach just focus gank this lane for the next 5 minutes. His flash will be down until about 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So 2, maybe 3 ganks from Zach could really get Legacy ahead and give him the potential to carry the game from the mid lane. Meanwhile, no leash bot side gives Phantom and Change the ability to do absolutely nothing. They're not trying to shove in. Okay. Interesting to see. Anyway, so Change managing to get the first 3 CS could quite possibly be the only CS he sees this game. Nope, that's 4, and the stun comes down from Faith onto Phantom, putting him below half health. And Phantom does not manage to land a responding stun, so that's a lot of damage taken completely for free. Kind of scary. To see them even losing the level 1 fight.
Oh, Bard taking a lot of damage. Ignite down as well. The heal force out from the Malphite, but Faith in huge trouble. Forced to flash as well, but Zayas here with the damage. Last 2 auto attacks gonna take the Bard down for the first blood. And now Change in a little bit of trouble. It is the level 2 onto the Zayas, so she could recall those feathers. The stun coming out from the Taric, not much left in Change's health. And that's going to be the end of the bottom lane for Norse Code. Thank you, Grenadier Greg, for the host of the 4 viewers. Appreciate that a lot. Siege in trouble now. Is going to find the double buff split mind. He's going to have to jump over the wall, but doesn't quite make it. Forced to flash the EQ from the Jarvan. Flag and drag with that ignite, or the red buff ticking down, going to burn the passive onto the Zac. Split mind still should be able to solo this one down. However, is in a little bit of trouble. Oh, the flag for the finish. Taking out Siege. And that's 3 quick kills for the Purpose Gamers.
Yeah, game's going about how I expected and not how I hoped. Yeah, I just don't see this being recoverable. If Change had gotten that early kill when Taric overextended, it might have been okay, but I just don't see what they're going to end up doing. Change is going to have a decent harass down on Devil Lettuce. The Q with Malphite does a pretty sizable amount of damage, but he doesn't have any real way to farm. What Devil Lettuce needs to be doing is just watching his opponent's minion wave, and every time a minion gets low, he just walks up and autos the Malphite once.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of an engage in the top lane, but it's tanks, so unless Uncut Brez decides that he wants to tank 3.5 million minions, it really shouldn't go anywhere.
There's 1 million minions up there? I need to get my eyes checked. Obviously, I need to pick up some glasses, but huge farm advantage.
3.5 million.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. 3.5 million minions. Phantom still eating up his own health packs in the bottom lane, trying to stick around long enough to help Change to fit some of the farm underneath this turret, but a lot of it is still being lost, down almost 15 farm already into the game. Devil's Lettuce with low mana though, again, something to keep track of is sometimes in these cheese bottom lanes where one team has a massive advantage, opens up the door for the jungler to engage, and sometimes all it takes is a 3 to 2 man lead to be able to take a win. In the top lane, Shen getting harassed down very low, however, is going to be able to get back up underneath his turret.
Yeah, but a good ward is going to spot out this potential gank from the Zac, I think. Yeah, they have vision on this now.
Yeah,
and Devil Lettuce just going to walk up and force him away.
So good ward placement earlier, I believe, by the Taric gives them vision of the Zac, so he's unable to engage in that bottom lane, so that's staying safe when they were up there. Gave a little bit of farm back over to Change. However, he's still going to be struggling. At this point, would you say that it is worth his mana to just throw his Q to finish minions off, or still trying to use it to harass the enemy champions? Because it's his only ranged spell.
Yeah, his Q just costs so much mana, he's going to get 5, maybe 6 minions for it. I really think that even now they should shift over and have Phantom play ADC, because there's really not any potential for them getting any minions down. Hold on, Zach is here, and it looks like an engage coming in.
Yeah, stun out from the Tarek is going to be enough. However, Siege unable to get the other stretchy arm strike down. The Devil's Lettuce, double taunt from the Shen, who is level 6. An uncut Brez completely changes the fight in the bottom lane, able to pick up 2 kills. Jarvan's here as well, and the Purpose Gamers are going to collect themselves 3 very quick kills, unless the Bard can have some incredible outplays. Gets the slowdown. Oh! What? The final bit of damage from the turret does get the outplay. Phantom picks himself up a kill in the bottom lane as the jungler goes a little too deep. Split mind on that one. But at the same time, that's only 1 kill over Norse code, and the farm advantage continues to grow for the Devil Lettuce.
Yep. So we've got 50 to 17. Exactly what I was expecting to see. Range versus melee in top lane is very difficult. In bot lane, where you have a second person to back you up as the ranged person, it's basically impossible to play range versus melee. With the, I wouldn't even say notable exception, because every Yasuo I've ever played against has pretty much gotten dumpstered. With Yasuo in bot lane, he has the potential for the wind wall to block out auto attacks, but there's no such protection for Malphite. The closest thing he has is that passive shield, and of course, got a little bit of trading in the top lane. A damage advantage for Uncut Brez because he has the time at early, but really not expecting anything to come out of it.
It looks like Shen is going a little more the aggressive route with that Tiamat, so looking at being a damage deal rather than just solely that frontline tank. Legacy in the mid lane, taking a little bit of damage. The ult from the Xayah in the bottom lane going to snare up the Malphite. Change may be in trouble, doesn't have ult himself, so unable to escape out of that one, but able to get underneath his turret. In the top lane, the channel from the Zac. Taunt goes down onto the Ornn, who starts his ultimate, doesn't get the slow, but gets the knock up instead, and that's going to be Riven's okay, I guess, getting a kill in the top lane after a nice gank from Siege, who's been pretty active so far this game, despite the failed gank in the bottom lane.
Yep. Phantom in a little bit of trouble. The bot lane once again getting harassed out and not getting any CS from these waves. You've got 21 to 63, and Fate just, oh wow.
That's some serious damage. In the mid lane, the Zac is here, but the Ignite ticks away onto the Malzahar, and Lion D. Kaiser picks up his own kill, now chasing Siege down. I do believe he has his passive back up. Isn't required to use it, though, as Lion decides instead to get that red buff. However, he is still being chased out by the Orianna, going to find himself in Tarek. Oh, just tries to get the stun down, not quite able to land it. Siege considers grabbing the Blast Cone. It's going to be the Devil Lettuce picking that one up, but Zac does look like he'll be able to escape, even with low health, and Change finally gets some much needed farm in the bottom lane after he misses.
Yeah, he is level 6, so if he goes back and grabs some bursty AP items right now, he might have potential to shot somebody. But aside from that, not much.
Oh, Bard in trouble. Phantom gets chunked down a little bit. This Xayah has a BF sword and a Caulfield's Warhammer already, so definitely chunking out the damage. I love the early boots pickup as well, knowing that there's potential with them constantly being pushed for Zac to gank in the bottom lane, so having that extra mobility will help her to escape any of those, though the low mana is not going to help that much.
Yeah, I was about to say that it's super important for
Ooh, here comes the Bard ult, the level 6 from the Malphite. Oh, he tries the fancy ult, but it's just a little bit short. Tarek starts the ultimate, but the damage has already been on to the Malphite. He's going to go down. Change already out, and there is no spare of it. Zac with a nice little let's kiss onto the bottom lane, but they're going to be able to walk to safety in the top lane. That's going to be the J4, and unable to get the kill for the moment. Starts the ult, but Ornn is able to just dash right through the wall and get back underneath his turret.
He actually channeled the dash before Jarvan basically targeted him with the Cataclysm, and then when that happened, during the cast time of, I can't remember what the name of his E is, but Ornn dashes, there's a bit of a delay on that cast time, and as the Cataclysm goes into the air, it's a targeted spell toward the ground at this point, and he dashes out of the area. Like you can flash Cataclysm and it doesn't follow you. it's the same thing that's happening. So he essentially flashed Cataclysm without flashing it. Nice to see that happen. Getting Orin out of a sticky situation. Siege clearing wards and gonna get engaged on by Split Mine, and
yeah, I guess the slowdown. Nah, able to hop over the wall. He's a little hard to stick down, and Split Mine just gonna trade the boards for that one, clearing back and forth. It is a war on vision, but bottom lane turret very low. It's gonna give Purpose Gamers the opportunity to push that down if they find another good engage. Both junglers on the bottom side as well. J4 still engaging in onto the Zac. He's very small, just escapes underneath this turret. Bard engage into the bottom lane. Here comes the teleport for the Ornn. Will it be enough time? That is the question. The flash forward, the double stun. Ornn ultimate down though. That's gonna knock up the Xayah. Can they finish her off? She doesn't have much mana, but comes the Shen as well. The burn is down. Xayah's gone. Malphite picks that one up. Bard tries to get through the wall, unable to find that. Shen cleans up that kill. Change now on the run, has already used the ultimate. J4 here coming out from the jungle. Gets the slowdown as well. Should be enough. Nice knock up from the Ornn. 1v3. Gonna clean up his own kill from the Jarvan into the bottom lane. Doesn't even care. And now we're just going to go straight back to tanking and burning away these minions. There are still two down here. The Shen and the Taric. Doesn't have to worry about going back to the top lane because the Shen is down here as well, trying to push this turret in. And Ornn coming out with some massive plays.
Good lord. Riven's okay, I guess. Dang. That was some pretty scary Ornn play right there. Managing to pick up one kill for himself and really being the main damage source that locked down the kill despite it going over the change on the Malphite. He really did all of the damage, and it's going to look like, barring a steal from Jarvan, who is pathing down toward the side of the map, it looks like it's going to be a Cloud Drake secured really quick, and yes, Jarvan does secure it with
oh my goodness. Huge play there, backing out now. He does have the slow onto the Orange. Siege's passive has been popped, but Uncut Bread's gonna flash the wall to stay safe. Low mana on this Ornn. Orianna here's ult is just going to clear up the Zac as the last of his little boblets aren't going to be able to combine together to get him back to safety. The Shen should be able to recall back to his turret. Oh, the ward was down from the Malphite, but didn't have enough time to throw down a Q, get an auto attack. And so the Purpose Gamers continues to escape, especially after a nice steal on the Windrake from the Jarvan.
Now, my favorite thing to watch is when Malphite tries to stop your back with a Q.
And it just follows you.
Actually gets it off, and it just follows you the entire length of the map because it's such a slow-moving projectile. It's hilarious.
Malzahar heading up here to the top lane, gonna get stunned up, but Bard's here as well, throws out the ultimate, actually stuns up the turret. That was unfortunate. Instead, the rest of the team gonna go in. The root onto the Ornn. He's low on mana, but Malzahar's here as well for the support. The stun from the Taric, he flashes away. Siege trying to get down, but nice recall of the feathers from the Xayah is gonna clear out Bard from a distance, and that's going to be the rest of the team calling the engage off. As Bard, I think, I'm not exactly sure what all went down there. Oh, beautiful play from the Xayah. Comes back in as Malzahar, believing that he was safe, starts the recall, and she just grabs him with a handful of quick feathers. Gonna pick up that one and continue to push the bottom lane. Ornn with low mana, the only one left here to defend, as Zac is clearing away his blue buff, and Orianna freely pushes in the mid lane.
I am so confused about that Bard ultimate. Hold on.
Yeah, that's going to be the engage. Nice knock up there from the Ornn, trying to get some damage down. However, he's been playing more of a tank than he is a damage dealer. Bard's come back. Let's see if this time he might have a better ultimate, but J4 around the corner going to force back the members of Norse Code, and they might just cede this second tier turret as J4 is way behind enemy lines now. Ults in, cleans up the Zac. Xayah getting credit for that kill, as well as the Bard as well. Double kill quickly over to her. Legacy has been respawned as well. Head back to the bottom lane. Ult from the Orianna only going to catch the Ornn, as Malzahar does have that magical spell shield. Xayah gonna take a little bit of damage, but really doesn't care. His change continues to slowly farm solo in the bottom lane versus the Shen, which is a little more fair on farm in comparison than the Xayah at the moment.
Yeah, but it's still pretty scary considering he's supposed to be the AP carry of the team, or technically AD carry, but he's building AP, so whatever. I don't know.
Rod of Ages for the first item, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's what he's building, but it's too late in the game for that.
He just lost all 5 of those minions. That's a painful moment right there. Rift Herald gonna go over to red team. Jarvan getting credit for that one, picking it up at least. And depending on where the Purpose Gamers pushes together, could do that. Another Bard ult going to just collect some minions. Has got the slow onto Uncut Brez, but looks like the Shen should be able to get his way back to safety underneath the turret. Doesn't even need a recall because he hasn't lost that much health and has 2 potions to hang out with as well.
Phantom donating Zonia's Hourglass over to the minion wave. Hold on, Devil Lettuce way out of position here, and
could be a catch from Siege.
Auto the
nice
to auto the minion there.
Yeah, unable to quickly get the auto attack down onto the minion, and Devil's Lettuce uses the ult, so that will be on cooldown to back out. Now found him in the mid lane, trying to get engaged down, or ult here, getting the knock up on 2. The Xayah may be going down. The Taric ult not in time to save her. Orianna still safely, though, doing damage in the background. Gonna pick up Bard, and now the chase is on Faith, being taken down to half health. Gets the stun onto 2, trying to get over the wall, but Change here continues to chase down the Orianna. But the rest of the Purpose Gamers are here to clean up the crew of Norse Code. Change very low health, but Jarvan's gonna follow him across the wall, and that's going to be finishing him off with the ultimate legacy now being slowly taken down. The Orianna headed back towards the mid lane, and that's going to be just Malzahar picked off. The 2 members from Norse Code up by the Baron Pit, going to be forced to recall and maybe walk their way back to the base.
Yeah, they're completely cut off at this point.
Oh, Shen doesn't quite get the taunt down on either of them. The Blast Cone, the 3, Party House over the wall as Uncut Brez now in trouble. Ornn does do a little bit of damage. Faith here to try to help tank up. Gets the stun down onto the Zac. Siege trying to keep the slows down for Ornn to get the burn. Brittle stacks damage every time you land it. Oh, the miss from the pillar. And that's going to be Xayah having respawn, cleaning up 1. Rift Herald already spawned into the top lane as Change the only one here to defend. The rest of the members from Norse Code going to be chased down. Legacy here has respawned as well, going to try to stop the Rift Herald push, and it looks like they should keep it at only 1 turret. Nice flash from Riven's okay, I guess. Going to be able to get him out of the Orianna ultimate. But the Shen flash taunting in. Bard's in trouble. Phantom maybe going down here, and Lion D. Kaiser picks that one up as well as the re-engage from Norse Code Legacy chases in on 2. Ornn ult slows down the Taric, but that's going to be a double knock-up onto the J4 as well as the Orianna. He's so tanky, though. Takes an entire Malzahar ultimate with the shield. Doesn't go down. In the mid lane, Xayah picks up a turret. And this game went from 0 to 90 real quick.
Yeah, it's kind of sad when the person doing the most damage on your team is the full tank Ornn in the top lane. Wow.
He's got a Sheen, so, you know, well, he used to have a Sheen, but now he doesn't anymore. He switched out for a Kindle.
He has an Iceborne Gauntlet, which I suppose counts as a damage item, sort of.
Sort of. A bruiser item. How about we go with that?
Yeah. Devil Lettuce is right here. Acting as a living ward, gonna spot out this attempted Ocean Drake sneak. But they've spotted out Devil Lettuce.
Good, this catch be real. Gets able to clean up 1, still has yet to recall the feathers. Oh! Pulls it in at the last second, knocking out the passive from the Zac. Continue on the escape, but Shen here for the taunt onto the Ornn. The Devil's Lettuce is incredible, picking up 2 kills as well as the Ornn falling, and now Ocean Drake should be the Purpose Gamers, as I believe at this point, 26 kills to 6, almost 14,000 gold in the lead. They are just playing with their food, as they could just walk it through mid lane and finish the game off.
Yeah, Malphite held his ultimate until Devil Lettuce had popped his and completely whiffs the Malphite unstoppable force. And as a result, they do get wiped by that. And it's going to be the Malzahar being taken down real quick, and with the Spirit's Refuge, they definitely have the opportunity to turn this. However, all of their damage
Siege goes back in, unable to get the slow, the stun down with the Taric ultimate, though, returns the favor from the Bard, and that's going to be the Ornn ult, slowing down 2, knocking up 3. Shen teleports in, but isn't able to help save the J4, canceling his teleport, and now he's on the run in the bottom. Meantime, it is the Xayah with, I believe that it's the Orianna, just pushing that bottom lane turret, gonna clean that one up. Bard picked up in the mid lane as the Ornn and Malphite now double stunned up. Ornn is just tanking and dealing all of the damage for the rest of his team. Zac here, having come back from the base. The inhibitor is gone in the bottom lane, but it doesn't even matter. The rest of the members of the Purpose Gamers are moving through the base. Orianna headed to the top lane inhibitor. Shen does get taken down, but these are just the tanks from the Purpose Gamers, and it is taking them forever. And now Xayah is here, able to pick up the Zac. Should be cleaned up. Oh, but Ornn with the CC keeps the last auto attack from going down, instead trading his life over. And Faith lives with the sliver of health. Unless change changes that, no, he will not. Faith believes, and that is going to be the kill onto Malphite.
Those puns absolutely sickened me, sir. Okay, so I have to give it to Ornn. It's like watching Huni in an Echo Fox game. It's like he's trying as hard as he can to 1v4, but the rest of his team just isn't holding it up for him. Really, Ornn, I want to see the damage stats in the late game, because he probably did all of the team's damage, has all but 3 of the team's kills, and has really set up every single good fight that they've had.
Yep. And has the least amount of deaths. I mean, yeah, you're the tank, but when he's 1v4ing and still able to pick up a kill and sometimes get out of the situation with the least deaths, that is just really good to see. In the bottom lane, the duo from Norse Code trying to do what they can to stop these siege minions from moving in. Maybe Malphite can finally get a little bit of minions without having turrets force him off of those minions. But the Baron has been started by the Purpose Gamers and should be able to easily clean this one up, as Norse Code is in no position to try to steal this one away.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see the game go over like that. There's really no opportunity that Norse Code had to win, especially like that very first fight when they almost got first blood onto Faith. Could have possibly turned things in the favor of their bot lane, getting a little bit of damage down onto the Malphite, allowing him to harass out the Xayah, maybe possibly changes the orientation of this game, but I can't see that.
Yeah, no, at this point, Zac gets the unstoppable, unable to grab anyone, just uses it to get himself out of a painful situation. Bardol goes in, doesn't even matter.
Oh.
The J4 is way more powerful. Locks up 2 for Orianna to clean up. The Taric on 5, gonna be able to keep them all just fine, as all the members of Norse Code couldn't do much of anything to stop the damage from Split Mine. Orianna picks up a turret, an inhibitor, a second Nexus turret, and with these Baron-empowered minions, the game goes over to the Purpose Gamers, picking up their first game of the series.
Yeah. Good play, but it's difficult to analyze in any real sense, because it's not like the Malphite was a strategic choice or anything like that. It was an unfortunate bug, and, well, I mean, the game went as expected with an ADC.
Yeah, something to keep in mind is those rules, that what you need to have is for if you are, something happens and you don't pick the champion that you want to pick, you need to immediately leave the game before you see what the enemy team picks. That way you can have a full reset and a full opportunity to actually pick the champions you want. But instead, the reason that it happened was because Norse Code allowed the Purpose Gamers to pick their last 2 picks before their 5th person picked their champion and then quit out of the game. That gives an unfair advantage over to Norse Code to be able to see what the Purpose Gamers are picking. It's very, very, very unfortunate, because we all give Norse Code the benefit of the doubt. I definitely give Norse Code the benefit of the doubt. But if a situation like that happens, you need to be able to back out before you see what the other team picks. Otherwise, there is the potential that somebody could be trying to receive extra information that helps them out in the next one.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been a better decision to maybe ask the opposing team if they're okay with either complete remake, or that's really what I would have gone for. Just complete remake on picks and bans, or moving over, or asking the opposite team if they care what the opposing ADC picks. And to be honest, it wouldn't have mattered since Zaya was picked up first. The ADC matchup would already have been a counter pick. So anyway, rules are rules, and it's an unfortunate turn of events leading to Norse Code's defeat. Do have to give heavy props over to the top lane. Orin really showing up for his team, and looking at the damage stats real quick. Orin going over his entire team by almost a factor of 8,000 damage. The only one coming at least semi-close being the Malzahar mid lane. However, definitely massive props to the Orin for sticking it out in that game despite being in a lose-lose situation. All right. Well, I don't think there are really any necessary analytics to be said in that game.
Not really. I wanted to just show as well the damage from that. That's one of those that, okay, so I do want to talk really quick about this. If you guys are interested in playing in any of these games in the future series, Livingstone, or you can find them on Discord at the Legends series, which I should be able to post the link, or somebody should be able to post the link in just a minute, gives you the opportunity to join in for being able to play in future series, whether you have a team or whether you're picked up on a team. Obviously, in this kind of a scenario, the Ornn, Riven's okay, I guess, playing a massive game, that's somebody you want on your team. So if you're putting a team together, or in the future, this is the type of thing that you want, even in a losing game, to have a standout performance that sets you way above the rest of your team and says, I am worth picking up, whether I continue to play on my team and other players get changed out, or whether I'm picked up by somebody else. That is awesome. So we're going to go to a break real quick, and when we get back, we are going into a third game of the night. Things have changed a little bit. We are jumping straight into the most hyped game of the series, Fire Ferrets versus Degenerate 5. These are the top two teams from the last series. This is Legend Series 2. Legend Series 1 was Degenerate 5 versus the Fire Ferrets, and Degenerate 5 took the win. So this is going to be a lead-up game. It's not the finals yet, but one of the most impressive games. We'll see who can come out with the win. We'll be right back. Degenerate 5 versus Fire Ferrets. Don't go anywhere.